Hey everyone, Sycra here, and in this video I'm doing some traditional sketching, and I'll be talking about unrelated stuff because I don't know if I haven't done one of those in a while, but I'm doing that now, so that's what I'm doing. So for the topic for today, I wanted to talk about how to get more work done. And maybe not just how to get more work done, but how to utilize your stamina. Because this is something I've recently been dealing with a lot. And for those of you who know about my condition, my dissociative disorder, this will make more sense. But anyway, I've been struggling a lot these days with what I like and what I enjoy to draw. So I've mentioned this concept about separating what you admire from necessarily what you like to do. And I still kind of got confused on this because the idea of what I like was like, well, I guess I like certain images. And so I felt like, well, to be true to myself is to create the images that I like that I like to look at. And even though that seemed to make a lot of sense, and I seemed to like the end result, it just didn't feel like I had a whole lot of stamina. And this whole Pointy Chins, the Pointy Chins video series that I made was really to develop a style that I liked. And I've been playing around with different styles recently just because, different aspects of myself seem to be surfacing. And what I found is if I just let them do what they wanted to do, I would end up with stuff that started looking like what I was doing in 2010, and that's kind of disturbing to me because, 2010 was 6 years ago now, and it feels like, wait, did I just lose 6 years doing, on a wild goose chase? And I don't know the answer to that, but I do feel like I learned a lot in these last 6 years, so it's not a complete waste. But it was something where before I wouldn't have that much stamina, but when I was drawing in a style that was easy to me, I felt like I had a lot of stamina and I could just draw more. I mean, I can draw more, but it's not like I really like the work as much as I used to. And I don't know if that's just because of the way I am, because I'm all split up, or if that's a common thing for people. And now I have so much self-doubt in terms of whether what I'm going to say is valuable to a general audience, or if I'm just talking in a vacuum, to people who are listening, but really just, saying things that only help me. I have had a lot of comments of people from people who say, I'm helping them, so I'm hoping this will help too. I really do. Yeah. So anyway, so my thought was this, that, okay, what I like, or what gives me the most stamina is what's easy. But when I say easy, I don't mean it's just like, oh, it's easy to draw. Because that's its own thing. If something can be easy to draw, but it's not necessarily the same. I guess what I mean is there's no resistance. You don't have any resistance to drawing. There's just this freedom. And even if it's something complicated, you're doing this for a reason. And I'm being too abstract, I think. All right, so to get specific, I don't like caricature, really. It's not something that I like to do. However, whenever I draw caricatures, I end up smiling a lot, and I just have fun doing it, and I can do it for a really long period of time. And caricature is by no means easy in terms of the skills it requires are really difficult. I mean, it's portraiture plus, because you have to be able to draw a portrait, and then you have to go beyond that. At least that's how I consider caricature, like realistic caricature where it's really painted well. It's just you take all the knowledge you would use as a fine artist, and then you add on top of that simplification and exaggeration. So I can do caricature and I'll have a good time doing it, and I can do that for a very long time. And it's not that it's not simple. It's still very difficult. However, I don't get much resistance to it, although I don't really like it. And I don't know, I've wondered about this for a while, why I don't like it. And I'm not sure if it's just because I think other people wouldn't appreciate it as much. Like, it doesn't really get much, I don't know, love, caricature, Like, if you do concept art, that's really like, it feels anyway that's like the big daddy of everything. That just gets the most approval and respect. And, oh, wow, you're a concept artist. And it seems like a lot of people chase that because they're chasing that respect and that type of, well, I'll have some sort of job in the future and it will maybe pay well, although it is very difficult to get into. Whereas with caricature, it's like, caricature, that's not cool. Like, who does caricature? So maybe it was that, like, maybe it's just the fact that when I was growing up, I never looked at caricature as something I wanted to do. It just felt like, well, I guess this is fun to do, but it's not a real job. And so in pursuing a bunch of things that I thought I liked, I was kind of not getting anywhere. And so now I just try my hardest to do what comes easily or naturally. And I figure there's going to be a bunch of people nodding their heads saying, yeah, I told you so. You shouldn't have forced your style. And with the whole forcing style thing, I also realized another thing about myself, and that is that I really enjoy learning and growing and figuring things out. That's just exciting for me. And it's something that I have to consider is separate from art creation. And when it comes to art creating, I want to create pieces that mean something or that are entertaining to me or fun to look at and that people like, I mean, otherwise I'm not, I have a part of me that draws without considering what other people like. But me, as I am now, I do care about what people say, kind of, or that they like the work. But I also have another part that's really analytical, and it's sort of the teaching part that just wants to figure stuff out. And I think my problem comes about when I confuse these two. Like, I don't think of them as separate, and I start mixing these two goals of trying to figure out and trying to be stimulated with just making artwork that people would like, and that I would like to see. And so with Pointy Chins, what happened is, as I developed, I was thinking, first of all, what do I like? Because I wasn't sure what I liked. And I kind of figured that out. And then I found out, like, well, I like sharp shapes. And then it became this feeling of, or a thought. It's not a feeling, it's a thought. Of the analytical part of me is getting interested now. It's like, hey, this is cool. You learned something new. And it's almost like a toy that you want to play with. Like, oh, okay, here's some new knowledge. Well, you like sharp shapes. What if you could make everything sharp? Because you like that, right? Like, what if you pushed it? And then there's a feeling of, oh, wait, but that wouldn't work. If you have like three shapes, the triangles, the circles, and the squares, and you just use triangles, that seems really difficult. However, then the analytical part thinks like, oh, but that's a challenge. Like, if you can't do this, that means it must be really hard, and that means it's going to be really cool if you solve this puzzle. And so I get really into that. I lose track of what I want, and I start thinking only about figuring out how to solve this mystery. And I think that's what I've been doing for the past while, a few years at least. So now I'm moving back to, okay, that part's fine, but it can't be the same as the part of you that just creates art. And also, I just didn't have enough stamina doing that, because if you're drawing what you think you should draw instead of what you really deep down want to draw, you're going to be facing situations where you kind of feel like, oh, I should be drawing, but I just don't have the energy. I just don't feel like it. I don't feel motivated. I feel like I want to procrastinate. And when I think about drawing, and thinking like, well, I should do this or that, this study or that study or whatever, it's very hard. And then when you think about slacking off, it's pretty easy. However, when you're really doing what comes naturally to you, it seems to me anyway, and maybe it's just me, but I have a hell of a lot more energy. And not just that, when I'm trying to figure something out, I don't actually procrastinate. I just get very intense about it. I feel like, no, I really want to figure this out. I will put in a lot of work. So if this is something that affects more than just me, then my advice to people who are struggling is to maybe find what it is you really want to do and focus on that. And don't worry about shoulds as much, because you can get a lot out of doing things you may not want to do necessarily. Well, actually, I don't know, because I got things out of things I didn't want to do, sort of. I mean, I did a lot of value studies and still lifes and stuff, and those weren't fun, but I learned a lot. But I guess I was interested in it because I really, really wanted to learn values. So, I guess never mind. No, I was interested in it. And then I got pretty good with values, but I suppose I wanted to be good at everything. And I guess this is also a curse, is that the people who seem to be most successful are the people who know what they want to do and really focus on that. And the people who are less successful are the people who chase what they think will make them happy instead of what does make them happy. Or they chase what will make them look good instead of really just, what they enjoy. So, I don't know. I guess that's it for this talk. Kind of, I hope it wasn't too pointless. If it was, sorry about that. Hope you liked the picture anyway. And if it was helpful, then, thanks for watching.